Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Gnippets. My name is Germ, and today I wanted to talk about sorrow. I wouldn't consider myself a particularly mentally ill person, but I have these episodes at times where I get really, really sad. And these episodes I don't want to say depressive episodes, though I may refer to them as that just because it's easier. Because I'm capable of getting out of bed, I can still do things, I'm not like manic or anything like that. And these episodes have causes. They don't just occur randomly. And in these episodes, I am miserable. I hate myself. I hate everyone around me. I don't find joy in anything. And not only do I not find joy in anything, I actively go out of my way to make myself worse. And in a strange way, I find these depressive episodes or these long bouts of sadness to be quite addicting. Everything feels so emotional and valuable. Every act of kindness is amplified. And by the same token, every wrongdoing is also amplified. These episodes can last anywhere from a couple days to I think a month is the longest it's ever been. And I can very easily be taken out of these episodes by hanging out with a friend or anything like that. But I almost, once I'm in it, it's very, very difficult for me to get out of it until it kind of runs its course. Until after a long enough period of time goes by, I kind of think to myself, who am I being upset for, right? That's kind of the punchline of the joke. And I'm not saying that everyone is kind of sad for attention, but in my case, I definitely, in these episodes, in my case, I would very confidently say that I am. I think there's something very addicting about grabbing people's attention, making them care for you, making them waste their time and emotional availability on you. I mean, it sounds really obvious when I kind of say it out loud, but like you especially if you see like e-boys or e-girls on Twitter when they're sad on man, you see those cringe Discord profile pictures where they're like, I'm tired of trying to help or whatever and stuff like that. It's a very kind of addicting thing to be sad and kind of trauma dump on people, and then they show empathy back to you, right? To be cared for. And it's not wrong to want to be cared for, but the issue is that if you're always sad all the time, if you're never kind of taking steps to improve, if all you're doing is just fishing for other people's emotional availability and their empathy, that's just ego. You're not actually sad, right? If you're not actively trying to get better, you're just kind of masturbating. You're kind of emotionally masturbating, right? And so when I'm in these episodes, I keep wanting to sink deeper and deeper and deeper, because the more wounds that I give myself, the more valid and justified these episodes are. And it kind of becomes this feedback loop of basically, I'm sad for whatever reason. I want someone's emotional availability. And especially if you try to reach out, which is a chore in and of itself, right? In these moments, you try to reach out, and if you're denied, it only makes you feel worse, which kind of makes you feel better because now you actually have a reason to be sad, per se, assuming, even though it technically started with a reason, right? And so you have these feedback loops over and over, and it doesn't have to be necessarily you reaching out. It could be like, oh, I failed a homework project, or my parents yelled at me, or maybe practice was bad, or I didn't win the big game. So you kind of keep reinforcing this house of sorrow. And I don't necessarily have an answer on how to get out. When you're in it, I know for me, again, I think I mentioned, eventually my body just kind of goes, hey man, like, you're kind of over this at this point. It doesn't make sense. And if I'm really diligent about it beforehand, the biggest recommendation I have is that, I know my body pretty well. I'd like to think I know myself pretty well. I guess a tip for myself and maybe for others who've had this is, if you feel that an episode coming on or something like that coming on, you have to hang out with somebody just as soon as possible. I think even if you don't want to, there have been many times where friends will ask me to hang out and I don't want to, but I do it anyway. Like I'm lamenting doing it, and I usually am happy that I do it every time. Usually any doubts I have about it are thrown to the side. But yeah, be careful not to eat yourself alive.